Oh, that's where that's coming from. All right, good deal. Put that volume down. Hi, everybody. It's a live show, and live from Denver, it's Friday night. Welcome to Critical Conversations, where there is always some technical fun and games to be had. Okay, guys, welcome to our show. As you can see, I am joined this week by my beautiful wife, Melissa.
Hello.
So glad you are here this week, as
Me
always.
too. Yeah.
I really love being on camera with my wife. Good. Okay, there we go. Yes, so this is now repaired. I have rearranged things a little bit, and what you don't see behind the camera, or actually kind of in front of the table here, is a whole lot of cable management and other things and decluttering and stuff that I did this week to just get my space a little better organized and not break my very expensive equipment, because it was kind of on me, and I need to be, and I realized I need to be better about that. So anyway, I'm glad you guys they're happy you're back.
I see that. Yes, I'm happy I'm back too. It was a rough week of being sick.
Yeah, it's been not COVID related. We're pretty sure at this point, but still just kind of
just out of it for a week, man.
Yeah, not fun. So hopefully by this weekend you will feel completely better.
Mm-hmm.
Thoughts and prayers. I'm counting on you people out there. Thoughts and prayers, okay? For this one.
I like this comment. I did some auditing. It turns out that 7 is Hubbard.
Okay, that's possible. Yeah.
He's not gregarious enough, though.
Yeah, he could. Maybe he's taking.
He's
some
definitely
chill time.
got the right hair color for it, I
think. Yeah. All right. Okay. I will definitely wave at you on your way through Denver, Xion. That's awesome. Yes, zip ties, exactly. Oh, thank you for that super chat, Mary. Already hitting the ground running here. That's great. Okay, what a Don't even hint at it. Somehow he listens and understands.
I see it moving now.
Okay. Oh, is it? Okay,
Yeah.
good. Well, if it's moving now, if the level indicator is moving now, then hopefully we've got sound again. Yeah, exactly. Okay, there we go.
All right.
Plug it in, plug it out, plug it back in. Sorry guys, I'm not sure what the deal is there. If it goes out again, I will change the cord that I'm using because I just, right before the show, changed out the cable between this board and my computer. So I got nothing, but we got sound back. So I'm gonna cross my fingers it stays that way. You know, I don't know what to say. Okay, good. We're back on that. So thank you for your patience. I will say that because it's always a little nerve-wracking being live, and the equipment always sort of bad connection of the plug. Wow, I must have a bad cable here. So I'm gonna change the cable one more time and see if that doesn't resolve this.
All right.
Okay? Just for fun, because if there's a little sizzling, crackling, I don't like that. So 1 second. Must be a bad cable. Ah. So we will use the good one. All right. Yep. Still got sound levels. So looks like this other cable. Let's cross our fingers that goes better without the crackling. And if there's still sizzling and crackling, then it's not a cable issue, and then
Something
I'll know I've
else
got
is very
something else to
wrong.
deal
Yeah.
with. So, okay, better it says. All right, guys. Thank you for your help with that. I mean, yeah, you can do a little dance next time. According to the good, crackling's gone. So I got a bad cable. So there we go. That was the problem there. All right, guys, let's get on with our show. Oh my goodness.
All right.
Hey,
Exciting start.
if it wasn't, you know, if there weren't, like they said, if there weren't gremlins in the mix,
Right. It
then
wouldn't be any fun, right?
That's right. Okay, good. All right, let's have a show. I wanted to. Okay, so we did check in with Seven there. So y'all did get a chance to see him for a second, and then the sound went crazy. So, oh yes, thank you. I wanted to mention everybody. I was on this trigonometry show, and that was kind of a big show and kind of a fun experience. I got interviewed by the boys, Constantine, and I'm sorry, I forget the other host's name. They're a British UK show, and they are kind of a big audience show. A little right of center, where I am a little left of center politically. And so but they were so chill, and they were such great hosts. And they really just, you know, they weren't about making me and then they said none of their guests are uncomfortable or anything. So I had a really great time. I was nervous as hell the entire time. I'm going to be honest with you guys. I was like, because when I control the space, relatively speaking, that I'm in, and it's my show, then I get to say whatever I want. And I'm really not overly concerned anymore about, you know, words coming out of my mouth. Whoa.
Yeah.
But when I'm on somebody else's show, you know, I don't know what's coming. And
Yeah, you don't know what they're going to ask you.
yeah, exactly. So anyway, if you go to Trigonometry is a YouTube channel. You can go to that. It's Trigonometry. And you can see my interview with them about cults, about wokeness, about some political stuff, about some more generalized cult stuff. We did talk about Scientology stuff a bit. I think it's about an hour show, and I had a great time, and got a lot of positive feedback and response from that. So I was very, very, very happy about that, and some new subscribers as well. So if y'all are watching this newly this week, then welcome to our live show. This show is, by the way, you know, I call this Critical Conversations, and I've sort of, you know, love that word critical. I kind of use it with a lot of things because it's such a great word. But, the intent of this show is, I think, a little different from other call-in show format venue shows I've seen, in that I'm not looking to get into fights with people on this show.
Right.
I'm looking to find common ground. However, if you want to fight with me, we can fight. I mean, we can do that. It's okay, but you're probably going to find a kind of unwilling participant in my part, because I want to converse. I want to have conversations. I don't want to have critical arguments. So that's kind of my thing here. And I know that I am not joined in that purpose. I know a lot of people are entertained by or seeking, conflict and fighting and debate and stuff like that. And I don't know. It's just kind of not what I'm trying to do, I guess. I'm willing to do it. I can get into it. But I just want to clarify my intentions here, that where people might want to call in and discuss the things we don't have in common, I'm going to be more interested in finding the things we do have in common. And I'm talking about this to kind of head up the show, because this has to do with the topic of the week, which is internet etiquette, right? Oh, and I see that we have a call in the queue here. So we are going to, okay, good. This is David. I will get right to you, David. But first, I'm going to finish this point, which is that etiquette is manners. This is social lubrication. This is the grease by which we get along with other people. And I'm a little alarmed. I'm a little concerned about the seeming negation or, throwing onto the dump heap the idea of manners and etiquette and civilized discourse and rational conversation. People talk about wanting to be rational, wanting to be critical thinkers, wanting to be skeptical, but then they, really get into these like really, really intensely emotional and sometimes quite insulting discourses back and forth on the on message boards or on Facebook or on social media platforms or whatever.
I wonder if it's slipping into the real world too, because like these people that attack people just because they asked them to wear a mask in a store or something, or all this stuff that's happening on airlines and everything. People are going nuts on airlines these days. And it's like, is this attitude this disrespect we have for each other on social media now starting to leak over in real life?
Well, I think to a degree we see some of that. Yeah, I mean, I here's what I think. I think if you get used to interacting with strangers that way, then in the real world you're going to start thinking that's the way you should interact with strangers, right? If you're like this insulting anonymous account type person, I don't know, Playgirl 597 or Dark One 666 or something, and that's your go-to way of going about getting along with other people, is by not getting along with them, by running around and insulting people all the time and calling them out and thinking you're doing activism or something. It's a weird mindset that this whole internet thing has created with this. And I can tell you that it just didn't used to quite be that way. I mean, in that, it's not to say that when you're face to face with someone that people don't get confrontational. They do,
but not as often.
That's what I think.
Yeah.
And I think that I think that in the big picture, the world is getting more and more civilized every day, to be honest with you. But I think we have hills and valleys, and we have these cultural declines that are short-term things. And I think that's how I see what we're looking at, or what I'm describing right now, is this inability or unwillingness to treat others with respect. Even if you don't respect their beliefs or their ideas, you can still respect them as a person, and not necessarily go for the jugular within 2 sentences of interacting with them. And that happens in my direction. It's true, Alex, that sometimes insulting people is cathartic. You're absolutely right. You're not wrong about that. I know that's why.
We're a little guilty of that.
Yeah, absolutely. I am too. In fact, the reason this is on my mind is because when I get riled up, I get insulting, and I don't like being that way. On reflection, I find it very distasteful. I'm kind of even ashamed of myself when that happens.
Mm-hmm.
I know I give it a lot more thought than I think the people I'm even directing it to.
Oh, sure, sure.
Because I worry about. I mean, she'll tell you. I get really concerned about this stuff. I get my attention is on it for hours afterwards, you know. And I'm one of those come down slowly people.
Mm-hmm.
I can't just have an argument with someone or have a non, you know, semi-violent, you know, interchange with someone, and then just walk away and it's all good, and I don't think about it anymore, and I don't have to worry about that person anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think like that at all. I very much still have attention on what, you know, the words that I've said and things I've done.
Yeah,
So
same here, same here.
yeah, so it's so it gets a little you know, it gets a little difficult, I guess is what I'm saying. That all being said, I kind of wanted to get some of that off my chest at the start of the show here. Oh, that's interesting, X-Cyan. And thank you, Preacher1138, for that super chat. Really love it. I only insult people for good reason. I totally hear you. I do too.
Yeah.
I always have a good reason. It's a half hour later that I'm second guessing those good reasons. In the moment, they're wonderful reasons. I am thoroughly justified, right? Yeah, free speech. Oh my God. All right. So yeah, let's go ahead and take this call. Now, let me remind everybody out there, call in line is 984-214-4154. We're keen to talk to you, so go ahead and give us a call. Here is David. Hello.
Hello.
How you doing, man?
Hello. I'm very well. How are you?
Doing all right. What's up?
Good. So, you made a couple of interesting points, I think, in your introduction. The first is about your call-in show wanting to find common ground of people, and I agree with you. There's far too many shows of a similar format where they're there to fight people. One
Right.
that comes up because I watched some atheist or critical thinkers on YouTube, and one that comes up is the Atheist Experience based in Texas. They say it's geared for a non-atheist audience, but by geared for a non-atheist audience, it's basically call in and I will tell you why your argument is shit.
Right. Basically. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's not. I mean, I mean, it might be interesting for an atheist to watch it afterwards and think, "Oh, aren't we all so good refuting these religious people?" But you haven't actually changed anybody's mind.
Exactly. And I think, and tell me what you think about this. I think changing people's minds is more often than not a slow burn.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that you have to introduce ideas to people and let them chew on them. And the debate format, I understand it's for the audience more so than it is for the participants, but even then, I still think you're really only planting seeds.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, it's not so much the debate format. I've attended a lot of debates, and the good speakers really get you thinking.
Yep.
It's the format of some of these shows. It's not like one of the guys has already decided he's right, and he's going to tell you why he's right.
Right.
Regardless of what you say.
Yep.
And I don't think that really changes anybody's mind.
Exactly. Hey, let me ask you about something while we're on this train of thought here, because this is something that occurred to me the other day, and it has to do with debate and rhetoric and these shows and stuff like this. And this has to do also with public figures, you know, people like me who put things out for people to think about or talk about, or we take positions on various things. Does it seem to you, maybe this is just my thing, and I'm kind of wondering, does it seem to you that we're not supposed to change our minds? That I don't mean the broad public. I mean us. I mean the public, like people in my position. Yeah. Are we supposed to always be static?
Well, frankly, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, and more than that, we are then supposed to take whatever view. So, I mean, Jordan Peterson's a good example. I saw his name in chat. Jordan Peterson's a good example of this.
Mm-hmm.
he came into the public sphere talking about compelled pronouns, and I find his argument on that quite persuasive. But what happened over the preceding few years, he then basically he has to have an opinion on everything. It's not enough for him to have an opinion on pronouns or on psychology or on his area of expertise.
Right.
He has to have an opinion on everything. And he also has to say what would be expected of a quote-unquote conservative figure. His view of the Brett Kavanaugh situation was that even if Kavanaugh was confirmed, he should resign from the Supreme Court and not actually sit on the Supreme Court. And a lot of people who were following him went ballistic when he said that, because he wasn't supposed to say it. He was supposed to take the conservative line of confirm him.
Interesting. I didn't know that about him saying that about Kavanaugh. I don't follow him that closely. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Huh. Did he
say?
He
said that Kavanaugh should step down.
Interesting. I mean, not that I disagree, but I've got my own reasons for that.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, what's your take on since we're talking etiquette and all that, manners and all that stuff? You know, I've got my background with that because I did the Sea Org etiquette course and manners and all that stuff. And
yeah.
Yeah. What's your take on all this?
Well, I mean, I think the whole internet etiquette thing, I mean, it's an interesting phrase, but unfortunately it gets weaponized by people who have no power in real life. They become like moderators of some community somewhere, and now suddenly let's bring out the band hammer. And they couch what they're doing in, oh, don't be a dick. Well, people think you're being a dick, and there's nothing we can do about you. The problem with the internet and the problem with internet communities, in my view, there's absolutely no accountability whatsoever. You can form a community of literally a million people on Reddit or on some forum somewhere, a million people. And then one day, the moderators wake up on the wrong side of the bed one day, and they say, let's remove the no politics rule. We just mean no liberal politics, or we just mean no conservative politics, which is far more common. And what happens? There's nothing that the community can do about it. Absolutely nothing. You've got a million minus one people and one person, and the million minus one have no actual ability to do anything about it. They disagree, and it's like, well, fuck off. I mean, we made your community what it is, and now you're telling us to piss off. It's frankly, I mean, it's not fair. Like, internet communities are built by the people in the community, not by some random person on a power trip. And yet, when push comes to shove, it's the people that built the community that can do nothing about if the moderators go on a power trip.
That's very true, and that's obviously analogous to our cult model.
Oh, yeah. I think so. Yeah, and then you see it all the time on internet. You see it all the time on internet communities, as some of them gradually go down either a far left rabbit hole or a far right rabbit hole.
Yeah,
and it mirrors the behavior of the people at the top. If you tell the rest of them to screw off, I mean, some of them will, and they'll form their own community, and maybe that will do a bit better. But name recognition is a big one, obviously. There was a massive schism in the anime community on Reddit over trying to ban the word trap, even though it's used in the anime community. It's used to refer to characters that are boys that dress as girls, try to pretend to be girls, but are unmistakably male. And it's used as a term of endearment. But some people in a different context use it as an anti-trans slur. But that's not what's going on when people in the anime community use it. One day, the moderators of a major anime subreddit woke up one day and said, oh, we're banning the word because it's used this way in a different context. Now, the community went ballistic. And they, in my opinion, had every right to go ballistic about it. It was a full-on rebellion. They lost 20% of their entire membership over it. And an alternative community was formed that quickly surpassed half of the members. But I mean, that's not really the point. Oh, just form your own community. No, we made the community what it is today. Why should we leave? You're the ones who suck.
All right. Oust the moderators.
Yeah, why should we leave? You're the ones who. Yeah, you're the ones who suck.
That's right.
There's absolutely no way to get rid of them, and that's the problem. That's the problem. Absolutely no way to get rid of them.
That's true.
And you're
basically describing you're basically describing the pattern of Christian expansion through denominations and schisms, right? I mean, same thing, same model, right? Exactly.
Yeah. Orthodoxy, Martin Luther, schisms within Protestantism.
That's right.
Schisms even in the Catholic Church. They like to pretend those don't exist, but there's been schisms in the Catholic Church too.
Of course, the original schisms were in the Catholic Church. I mean, that's at least as far as Western European history goes. Cool, man. Listen, I'm going to let you go because I got another call in the queue, but this was awesome. Thank you for chiming in on this.
Okay. Good.
Awesome.
Thanks for having me. Great to talk.
Absolutely, man. Talk to you. Bye-bye. All right. Let's pick up this other call, and then we'll check in with Seven. Remind me to check in after this one, because this one's for you, baby.
Okay.
All right. Hello, you are on.
Hey, this is Leslie. I didn't say my name, so it's Leslie. And I do have a question for Melissa.
Yeah.
I would like to know, when you guys first met and he was just coming out, what kind of personality traits, habits, things like that did he not realize were a problem until you guys got together? Like things he needed to correct, habits. I don't know anything specific. I just mean, like, how did you relate to his struggles and be more understanding, stuff like that?
I think one of the things I definitely had to teach Chris a lot about was definitely like mental illness and how that really works. You know, like it's not fake. The drugs aren't all bad. You know, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Big time. And how to deal with
how to handle
mental illness and episodes and how to be around her with that, you know, at all times.
Yeah, I think.
Yes, I've been so happy when I've seen you promoting the better health and all that, and makes me happy to see that you've accepted it, you know, now.
Yes, very much so. Yeah. It's
but I love the channel, and I love you guys so much, and I love following along with your schooling, and you have turned this ugly to a positive. So thanks for that, and I'll keep watching.
Awesome.
Well, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, guys.
All right. Bye-bye. All right. Cool. That was interesting. Yeah. Do you want to say anything else on that?
Trying to think of what else I had to help you with.
Got Melissa on the spot there about me.
Yeah, I think we argued differently than we used to too. I think we were a little more.
Yeah, I think so too.
But I think we both had to learn stuff there.
Yeah, I don't know that that's so different than how all relationships work. But I might be projecting or assuming too much. I know some people actually like to fight.
That's true.
They seem to really get off on it, and it brings them closer or something. We're not that.
Yeah.
We're not that. Yeah, we don't like to fight. Cool. Let's check in with our kitty again. There he is. Okay, and we're still getting sound levels, so I think we're okay. It wasn't the 7 cam. Yeah, there's our little guy.
It's weird. Not only do I not know,
that's right. Now that's in the living room, and that's actually right by the couch there. You can see that's where we sit and watch TV and stuff all night. So right up by the porch there.
And that's where Seven sits judging us.
Yes, that is his tower of judgment. That is absolutely what Seven will spend his time doing there. Cool, guys. Oh, this is my shirt, by the way, is a Star Trek shirt. This is a play on the Beatles, Abbey Road, walking across the street. But this is Spock Scotty, or this is Spock, Scotty, McCoy, and Kirk. So this is my Star Trek shirt there. Yeah, Jonathan, that's actually a really good point. Jonathan Perry commented on here, it's so easy to be abusive, ruthless, and mean when you'll never meet the person you're responding to. That is exactly right. I really wish there was some way. Look, I know that there are arguments for anonymity on the internet. I know that. I get that there are countries and places and situations where that's important or necessary or whatever. But at the same time, I think that argument gets way, way, way overused for bad behavior. And
right. I mean, you shouldn't be able to do death threats.
Exactly. Well, and you wonder how much you want to moderate it or how much you want to control it. But at the same time, you don't want people at each other's throats, and you don't want to create situations where they're going to be. This is a really tough call because people will get out of hand at the drop of a dime. I mean, it's really hard. I was thinking about this the other day, and there's a little bit of this lie that we all sort of tell ourselves about ourselves, that we can control ourselves, that we are rational human beings, that we are always have a check on our emotions, that we have the right to be able to say anything we want, whenever we want, to whoever we want, and God damn it, how dare you tell me I can't? And you go, well, all right, good. In this most absolute of all absolute worlds, that sounds wonderful, except for the fact that all of us have this dark side.
Yeah, if we all have that right, then...
I mean, it's just, you'd like to see that, but then, the fact of the matter is you watch what plays out when people have that ability, and it gets pretty ugly, and it can get pretty ugly pretty fast. Is that necessarily a bad thing? Should high, violent even communication, is there anything really wrong with that? Maybe I'm looking at this the wrong way. But I look at cause effect, and I look at, where language leads and where hostile words and hostile language and hostile attitudes and I'm right and you're wrong. I mean, this is my life, right? So maybe my negativity bias on this, though, is a little too strong. Maybe I think too much about this in the negative versus the positive side of it. But I think that this is where the manners and etiquette kind of solves the whole problem if we could sort of introduce that into the discourse. But what, I don't quite understand why that is such a problem for so many people. That's the one I'm having a hard time getting my wits around, and I thought I'd engage with you guys and see what you had to say about that, because I'm a little bit at my wits' end on it in some ways. We have Kenneth, so let's pick him up here. Hello.
Hi, Melissa, Chris, Seven. How's everybody doing?
Doing good. How are you this evening?
Hi. Oh, I'm great. I won't take up much of your time. I was just speaking of internet etiquette and how to listen to people better and whatnot. One person who I have, who's actually had some interesting things to say a little bit is Gates McFadden. She has a podcast now called Investigates, where she interviews other Star Trek cast members, and she talks about how that's something she's worked on. And actually on her Twitter feed, somebody tried to give her a bunch of shit because it's like, how dare you communicate or have somebody as a follower of yours who supports Trump? She goes, look, my Twitter feed is talking about what interests me and stuff. I'm not here to browbeat everybody who disagrees with me. For one thing, I get very tired very fast. And I'm not a Trump supporter, never have been, never will be. And, I'd pretty much take my life on. But what I'm saying is, one thing I've noticed over this past year since I've had to start teleworking is I'm still as outspoken as hell. I found a way to do it in a way so that I don't, how do I put this delicately? I don't come off nearly as much of a pain. As one of my teachers told me when I was a kid, you're pretty much free to try to do anything you want. There are just consequences. They could be everything from getting a better job to death row.
Yep.
I mean, I just wanted to see what you guys had to say about that. And you guys are Star Trek fans, I take it.
We are. Yes. Star Trek, Star Wars, all of it. Yeah.
Oh, yes. That's great. That's awesome. What about 7? Does he like it?
I don't know that 7 has an opinion.
Indifferent. Yeah.
I think indifferent. I think that would be the exact right word for 7 on that one. But no, you brought up some great points there.
And go ahead. I'm sorry, Chris.
No. Please finish your thought.
Yeah. Well, what I was just saying is look, I'm not trying to necessarily plug anybody's stuff. I was just saying her podcast investigates. It's a limited run series. She does a really great job. She talks to the others. They talk about things they went through. And what's interesting to me is many of the actors, at least on Star Trek, some of them were willing to say, it's like, gee, that was kind of stupid on my part I did when I was younger. I really jumped the gun on that. And I'm like going, what? A celebrity admitting wrongdoing of any kind?
Right.
This is weird. I mean, and yes, I've screwed up many times. Guilty as charged. Mm-hmm. I mean, but I don't seem to beat myself up over it as much because I tend to now anyway, because I tend to understand, hey, look, man, you're going to make mistakes. Just don't, without going into much detail, let's say I kind of had my own cult situation I was in. It was called a job, so to speak. I'll let you go, but I just have to ask one thing. If your soundboard hadn't have gotten fixed within a certain amount of time, would you have had the person who repaired it, would you have had to have put them, sec check them? And if so, would it be the Joburg or the whole track sec check they would get?
I would definitely use the whole track sec check because I would want to know their evil intentions across all of time and space that they're screwing up my soundboard. So yeah, I'd dig in.
Yeah. Well, you guys got a lot of other people to talk to, and I'm busy, so
no worries, man.
I'll let you guys go. Good night, Chris, Melissa, 7. Be cool. Bye.
Awesome.
Now.
Thank you. Bye-bye. All right, cool. Yes, I see that, Sandy. Thank you for that awesome super chat. Loving that. Well, so yeah, exactly, Christina. I mean, that's the whole thing is there seems to be this sort of locked in idea, going back to that earlier thing on change. Did you have, before I address this actually though, did you have anything else you wanted to say on what he was talking about there? Okay, cool. I just get this idea sometimes that there's, and I tweeted this the other day, that, there's hypocrisy and then there's changing your mind. Mm-hmm. And sometimes these things get confused with one another because it seems that public figures are never supposed to change their mind. They're always supposed to hold their positions, and if they change or deviate in any way, look, you're a hypocrite, you're a hypocrite, you're a hypocrite.
Especially
right?
Politicians, man. They're not ever allowed to change their minds.
Yeah, exactly. Even though the fact of the matter is their base might change their mind. And if they do, then the politician who's representing them is supposed to do that as well. That's the whole representative
that's the hope.
concept, we hope, right? Excuse me. And of course, things are going to change over time as things change and evolve. And yet it's funny how we're expected to stay the same. Now, some people really build up an industry on this. I mean, I'm thinking like Rush Limbaugh right now. I listened to Rush Limbaugh. I was a ditto head in the late 80s and early 90s when he was really rising up. Got a TV show. He published a couple books. I was an avid reader. And then I kind of drifted away from Rush after a year or 2 or 3 and, got in the Sea Org, and then I wasn't following anybody in terms of political commentary or anything. I thought they were all full of shit. But then I come out of the Sea Org, get back into the real world, and there's Rush Limbaugh.
Still saying the same crap.
Exactly. The same lines, the same snark, the same riffs, and I was like, damn, dude. 30 years and nothing's changed. And I have to wonder, have you learned anything? I guess not, because it's just this static thing, right? And I guess we can, we could talk about whether he really believes it or not, but that's not really my point. It's that these public figures, these commentators, these people who put out this incendiary kind of very partisan kind of commentary kind of lock themselves into this little world that they have to stay in. And I never agreed to do that. And I'm not trying to put myself on a pedestal or anything, because I know there's other people who are like me. I'm not saying everybody's like this, but I just wonder about it. Do we have the freedom to change our minds or to say something different without being insulted
Yeah.
or called hypocrites and, you know,
Right.
this kind of thing, you know? So, or do we just have to deal with being called names?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I really haven't resolved this for myself yet. You know, I'm curious again what you guys think. You know, as a content creator, as a human being who produces content and puts it out into the world, am I supposed to negative comments? I don't like it. This isn't my taste. I don't care. No big deal. But oh, you're still a Scientologist. I can see you never left the cult. You're just still a woke libtard cultist, right? Or because I was critical of critical race theory. I'm a Fox News propagandist, and I'm a hypocrite, and I never left the cult, and I should go back to Scientology because that's where I belong, and this kind of thing. And that's the kind of line in the sand where I'm like, am I supposed to put up with that? Are you supposed to put up with that? Is she supposed to put up? Are we just supposed to deal? Like, that's just, yeah, no big deal. Who cares, right? I don't know. You know, I'm not sure. I'd like a universal solution. I'd like one that works for everybody. Don't know if there is one. Not sure. You know? Tell us your true feelings for Rush. I don't like Rush anymore. When I said I followed Rush, that was 30, 40 years ago. I am not a ditto head anymore. There was almost nothing that man said that I have heard in the last 5 years before he died. That I could agree with in any way. I found him very, very hard on the ears. I found it very difficult to listen to anything he had to say for any length of time. And this is a whole 180 for me, because it used to be the exact opposite. I was totally a follower. Christina, I think, keeps asking about my. Oh no, Xian asked about that. My tattoo. It says it's chaos. Be kind. This is from Patton Oswalt from his one
of his stand-ups.
Yeah, from one of his stand-ups where he talked about his the loss of his first wife, and this was actually a quote from her, and I don't know 4 words that say more in less. You know, I love this expression. It's chaos. Be kind, and I really try, but I fail all the time with that. But I really do try. So much so that I tattooed it to myself so I'd remember. Oh yeah, duh. Be kind, you idiot. You know. So yeah. Okay. Let's check back in with 7 for our third and final time.
All right now.
Okay, there he is.
He's got his eyes closed, I think. Still waving his tail.
Yes.
That tail's so long.
Such a little
tail is moving
furball
this
of
time.
love.
Proof of life.
Yeah.
Oh my God, we have to tell the 7 story.
Oh yeah.
We have to tell you guys a story.
That little jerk.
Yeah, 7. Oh, thank you, Teresa, for that super chat. Jonathan, I agree with you that Tucker Carlson is the worst one of them all. I believe that at this time, right now, that is absolutely true. I cannot. I could just spend my entire day making response videos to all the bullshit that comes out of Tucker Carlson's mouth, and I still would not get it all done. I mean, it's just crazy. But let's talk about something a little more fun. We had a little 7 escapade last week, and we thought we'd lost him. It was bad. For a few hours, we were devastated. And I didn't tell you guys about it last week because I wanted Mel here to tell you. It actually happened about a week and a half ago. Do you want to say what happened?
So these maintenance guys came over to fix our fire alarm /
the
carbon
monoxide
monitor thing.
Yeah.
So they came over to fix that, and of course 7 disappeared because new people. He was afraid, but then we didn't see him for hours and hours.
Oh yeah, we should let people know that when any stranger, any friend, anyone, my parents, her parents, anybody,
people he doesn't know,
comes here. Even people he knows, though.
Yeah, but only if they're like here all the time. Like if they're not here all the time, he's not coming out.
Yeah, he disappears. He is a scaredy cat. He literally goes and hides.
Yeah.
And he will hide in cupboards, cabinets. We got kid locks on all the cabinets because he'll open them. He'll just
and these cabinets you can't get back out of, so
Yeah. So, containing 7, keeping 7 out of things is an awful lot like keeping a 3-year-old out of things, Anyway, please continue.
So yeah, we hadn't seen him in a while. We're like, okay, where is this cat? So we're looking all over in his normal hiding spots, all over the house, double checking, triple checking, and we can't find the dude. We looked everywhere he could possibly be. Every cupboard, every closet, every whatever. And so we're like, okay, maybe he got out when the maintenance guys were here somehow. I don't know.
Maybe dashed out the door lightning fast. He's fast when he wants to be.
And so we're like looking around outside, looking under the cars, putting signs up. We still can't find him.
Contacted the leasing office. Or can we put signs up? What do we do? I mean, she was set to start calling the shelters.
Yeah.
And okay. So we have a bed. We have a bed in our bedroom that has that I purposefully got bottom drawers for at the bottom of the base of the bed, so that 7 would not be able to go under the bed. It's completely sealed off. There is no way in or out of there. You can't go around a side or around. It's a box that our bed sits on.
There should be no way in.
There should be. This is why we didn't even really check under there. I opened one of the drawers a little bit, but I was like, 7 can't get in here. And I closed the drawer, and that was that. So imagine my surprise when, and I'm telling you, we were really not in a good way. We were really upset. And I walk in the bedroom, and it's very quiet, and I hear meow. And I just about lost my shit. Like, what? Right? I'm looking around. Meow. I go around the bed. I'm looking around the bed. I'm looking under the, we got cabinets. I'm looking in the cabinets. I'm looking between and behind the dresser. It has not yet twigged that he's in the bed, because that's impossible. He can't be under the bed because that's a sealed thing that he can't get in, right? Wrong. He got in there. I don't know how he got in there. We have no idea. But I opened up one of the big drawers, and he comes bolting out of there. And anyway, it was an emotional moment.
Yeah.
It was a very, very emotional moment. And yes, we were, he is a smart little sucker. And we had more choice words for him than that at the time that went down. We were pretty upset. But we were also so unbelievably happy to get him back.
Yeah.
I just love this little guy. And what, 14 years?
Yeah, almost 15.
Yeah, and you've had him from the very beginning.
Since he was 2.5 months old.
Wow. So it was, however I felt, she was, 10 times worse. And it was, we were really like, we thought we'd lost our kid. It was bad.
Yeah.
We were really, really devastated.
Like, oh, no.
So, and of course, the worst part with a cat versus, say, losing a human is there's no lesson teaching.
Yeah.
I can't impart to him how
scared you are. Yeah.
Right? He just looks at you and is like, whatever, dude. So anyway, so that was our 7 adventure a week and a half ago. We got him back because we never lost him. We just didn't understand. And to this day, right now, as we sit here, we still do not know how he got in there.
No clue.
Because we've never seen him open one of the drawers.
Nope.
They're not easy to open.
Nope.
We didn't leave them open. We don't use those drawers that often.
Nope.
They're under the bed, so we got long-term sort of storage stuff under there.
Stuff you don't get out very often.
Yeah. So to this moment, I literally have no idea how he did that.
He's weird. He's a big kitty, but it's like I've moved into new apartments before, and he'll go in the bathroom and get in one of the little drawers. Like, how you'll have the cupboards and then the little drawers next to it? He'll get in those sometimes, and I don't know how he gets in there.
He is a cat. He's just got those cat-like reflexes.
Like, Like, how did you even fit in there,
It's actually quite amazing. I not here, but at the old apartment, we opened drawers and he'd be in there. Yeah, anyway, so so that was our big 7 adventure that I wanted to share with you guys, because he really put the fear of whatever into us. But all is well, all is good, and our little guy there will persist longer. We were not ready for him to be gone.
No.
We just weren't. And we did not imagine that was how he would just disappear one day. That was not in the game plan at all. So anyway, yeah. So we were. Okay, enough about that. Anyway, our scare of the week. Okay, guys. Oh, oh my God. I have, through all of this, we've had a call in the queue. Oh, it just came on. Okay, good. Oh, it's Travis, of course.
Oh, he's got a question about Scientology.
Of course.
All right.
Travis.
Good evening, Chris. Good evening, Melissa.
Good evening.
Hey, man. How you doing?
Okay, I guess I need to say hi to the cat, too.
Yeah, 7.
Hey, I wanted to report in.
Yeah.
I was watching some videos on YouTube today, and I think because I watch a lot of the channels on your, a lot of the videos on your channel, Chris, I got a nice little recommendation for a Scientology video, which I'm assuming is from their TV channel.
Oh.
And I wanted, it's called well, the name of the video, and please don't watch this. It's called Scientology Tools for Living, The Cause of Suppression.
Oh, yes.
No.
Yes. Yes.
Now, you seem to, that seems to remind you of a policy or something, right, Chris?
Something about that, yeah. Something about suppressives and PTSD and stuff like that.
Yeah, actually. Well, have you seen the video, or is this based on a policy?
Yes, all the videos that you see on the Scientology channel are based on Hubbard's policies, and this specifically is based on the PTSD material.
Oh, good. Well, what I'm gleaning from this is that you've read through the PTSD material, several times, right?
Yes, several times. I did the PTSD course 2 or 3 times. So, yeah.
Okay. The video specifically, the description of the video in the caption on YouTube said that this is a free course that Scientology is offering for people to help them communicate better and help them through life, and it's an introductory course. So this is a carrot on a stick, it would seem.
Yep. That's
and
correct.
Okay, good. See, I'm figuring things out here. Now, I wanted to ask you some things about this policy, about the policy depicted in this video.
Mm-hmm.
Is this a basic course that everybody has to go through when they sign up for Scientology, this PTSD thing?
Eventually, but sometimes it takes longer than others to get to it.
Now, please explain that, because this was something that it heavily implied from the video that this is just something to lure people like me, the unsuspecting, unwashed masses, in. Why then would they be presenting this as a bait?
Oh, well, because a lot of people do run into assholes, right? And people who are suppressing them. I mean, antisocial personalities, etc. They exist. So for a lot of people, they feel powerless against such personalities, rightly so. They're in a job position, family position, whatever. I mean, we know about these kind of people. And Scientology just labels them with their labels, which is a suppressive person, right? Rather than, say, malignant narcissist or something like that. So the reality of what they're talking about is true enough, as far as there are people who are predators and they consider the rest of us their prey. And some people, this is one of the surveyed buttons that people in the general public or population have on their mind as a life ruin, as something that is ruining their life or is making their life difficult. And that's why it's one of the beginning courses. All of those courses that Scientology offers at the beginning level are based on surveys of the general public as to what they run into.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they are actually trying to address a need that's been identified perhaps internally or externally.
Correct.
Okay. Now, thanks for explaining that to me. That makes it puts things in a little bit more context. Now, I will say, at watching this video, maybe the information was communicated poorly. Go figure, Scientology. But yeah, well, what it did was it literally said the verbiage. Everyone falls into two categories, and that is a social personality, and you've mentioned antisocial personality.
Correct.
It's an either-or proposition, which is not the case. It didn't present anything in the middle.
Right. Yeah, it's a bit of a false dilemma. There's spectrums there more so than an absolute black and white situation.
Yeah, sure. I've been a horrible person in my life, but I've also been a good person.
Exactly. Me too. Exactly.
Well, okay. So one of the things that it mentioned, and this is where the dark side of Scientology, I think, is showing itself, but for the uninitiated individual, they don't know that the dark side of Scientology is rearing its ugly head. And I'll tell you why. One of the definitions that it said that the video, to the audience here, I'm not suggesting anybody watch this. If you do, it's about 10 minutes, but it defined an antisocial personality as somebody who basically criticizes pretty much anything you're doing. Anything. Somebody could be actually doing something horrible. However, if somebody says, "Hey, dude, cut that out. That's not good." Well, that person who is telling you that is now antisocial.
Yeah.
And they're the problem, not you. And it said this in a general and just a sweeping comment.
Right.
It was very childish.
Well, that's Scientology. Yeah. Especially on this topic, by the way.
Really?
Oh yeah, very much so. This topic of the antisocial personality or the suppressive person is the how do I put this? The ne plus ultra, the epitome, the par excellence of Hubbard's vindictiveness. Hubbard was a very vindictive man. He intensely disliked any criticism of him, whether valid or not, for any reason. He just wasn't down for it. And so this is one of the reasons this became one of the characteristics of the antisocial personality is, these are all a bunch of antisocial dickheads who are against me, right? And against Scientology. And this is one of the things they do is carping criticism and tearing you down and trying to make you feel bad and this kind of thing. Well, true enough, but we have to acknowledge that that's relative to the viewer as to, the recipient as to whether this criticism is carping or whether it's, useful, helpful, positive. It has a little bit to do with how it's received. It has a little bit to do with how it is delivered. It's a little bit of both, Okay. Yeah.
Now, I was watching this video, and this is an assumption on my end. This was an interpolation, or excuse me, not an interpolation, something that I read into this, and that is that this dichotomy here, the social antisocial personality dichotomy, it seems like it's one of the foundational premises of Scientology itself. Is that true?
In terms of the ethics aspect of Scientology, it's foundational, yeah.
Okay. And also, by the way, the video also said, and this was one of the true ironies of the whole video, it said, antisocial people speak in generalities. Well, that's pretty much the entire video. They made generalities. So
right. I'm
no
glad you noticed
self-awareness
that.
here.
Yeah. That was good catch.
Oh, it was hard not to notice.
Yeah.
Seriously, I could have been half asleep. I would have noticed. I promise you that.
Right.
Also, and you can pat yourself on the back for this, I noticed that every single thing that they said about antisocial personality types, it's Hubbard.
Exactly.
100% Hubbard.
That's right. That's exactly right.
Now, I know the answer. I think I can character. I already know what your answer is going to be here. Does anybody in Scientology actually understand that Hubbard is the ultimate poster boy for antisocial personalities?
No, they do not. No, absolutely
really?
not.
Okay.
No.
At all, like across the board.
No, Hubbard's the poster boy for the social personality, right? Not the antisocial.
No, that's what they're told, and I understand that. But his actual policies and everything else in his entire life, that dude, my gosh, you want to talk about something that fits their criteria of antisocial to a T? It's that bum.
Yeah, exactly. It's from a psychological perspective, so many of Hubbard's writings are actually analyzable. I mean, you can really break down his personality, and I have. I mean, that's why I talk, the way that I do about his personality is because it's written into the DNA of Scientology. So it's all there. His personality, his vindictiveness, his worldviews, that is what Scientology basically, is in many ways.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I thank you for explaining all this to me. And I will say this. I worked in TV for a long time, and a number, well over 10 years. And I will say, from my experience in that industry, I can tell you that their video was well produced.
Yeah.
I will give them that much. In fact, I would put it on par with something that because I worked for major international conglomerates and also at the local level. And I'd put it on par with one of the major organizations that I worked for, something that they would put out.
Okay.
It wouldn't be something that show up on prime time, but it'd be something that is near prime time.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say, I'm not saying it's a Hollywood production, but it's close. It was close.
Yeah.
It would be good for it would pass.
Absolutely. So, yeah, no, the production values of the Church of Scientology's, production division, I guess you could say, their cine stuff it's top notch. I mean, they've invested millions and millions of dollars in that. It's the content that's not worth shit. That's my punchline on that one. There you go.
Well, I'll tell you, Scientology is a punchline, a bad one at that.
Yeah, big time. Big time.
Okay.
Thanks, Travis.
Well, I appreciate you taking my call, and thank you, Melissa, and have a great day.
Awesome. Bye-bye, man. All right, let's go ahead and wrap up our show here.
Any, statistics about what the viewership for the Scientology channel actually is? Is it really low?
Well, you can see the YouTube video count and stuff, but they inflate that.
But there's a channel too, right? Like on satellite TV.
Oh yeah, the Scientology knows that, but they're not being transparent about that.
Right, but I didn't know if anybody else knew that.
I don't know.
DirecTV knows that or something.
No, well, maybe, but that's not. I don't think that the actual figures are publicly available. However, if anybody out there knows if they are, if you can look this stuff up, I would be keen to know what those viewership numbers look like.
Yeah.
I'm already predicting they're pretty sucky, but how sucky? That might be interesting.
Yeah.
That might be interesting to see how many people are actually tuning in on that thing. We've got a critical thinking card segment time, guys. All right. And, okay, let's take the jokers out. Fan them. All right.
Do we do ad hominem?
Well, we're going to do it again.
All right.
Because we've only got so many of these cards.
One of those common ones.
Well, I realize we've been doing this show for almost a year, and there's only so many of these cards.
Doing it longer than
Actually, longer, yeah. So we're going to have repeats. Okay. Oh, by the way, somebody sent me a suggestion to make individual videos out of every one of these cards.
Ooh,
and I think that's a great idea. You could do a series
about that. Yeah, that'd be fun.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea. I think that's definitely a future track there. And Jerry L., I want to thank you for that super chat. You are awesome for giving us that. All right, your fallacy is ad hominem. Attacking your opponent's character or personal traits in an attempt to undermine their argument. Maybe if we just banned ad hominem from the internet, we'd be doing the world a favor. After Sally presents an eloquent and compelling case for a more equitable taxation system, Sam asks the audience, whether we should believe anything from a woman who isn't married and probably eats her own boogers. That's what it says on the card. I think Sam has a point, don't you? Ad hominem. We do not like that at all. Yes, critical thinking is definitely not critical theory. That is true. I'm just waiting for that phone call to happen sometime. Somebody to call in and start challenging me on that. All right, guys, you guys are awesome and wonderful. Thank you for coming around and watching the show. And I wanted to let you know this weekend we've got podcast already loaded, ready to rock at midnight tonight. It will release, and that is about post-cult education. I can't believe it's taken me this long to start putting podcasts together about this, but a professional doctor and educator reached out to me, and we did an interview or did a talk, and we're going to do a little series, probably about 2 or 3 podcasts, on the subject of getting education after leaving a cult or traumatic, survivor situation, and how you go about doing that. And we got lots of links and lots of brass tacks and lots of little ideas and things to talk about with that. So you'll see the first of those tomorrow. And then we will do a usual Q&A, not live. It'll just be a regular show on Sunday. So that's our weekend. And thank you very much for coming around, guys. Thanks a whole lot for the super chats. They're very, very much appreciated. Help pay for my equipment and nonsense and all that. And yes, you guys have a good weekend. And we'll see you guys next week.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right. Let's do that one.